No one would have believed in the turn of the 21st century that Earth was being studied by envious eyes. Wow, 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 wow. Still haven't sanded those skirting boards. Alright, you can do them.
War of the Worlds. You gotta tell that story.
Wow, 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 wow,
Press again, huh?
They're cool. Last year, you're a wee bit cool.
Well, that's because you got the fan on.
Did you do any video of the chicken sitting on the chair?
Oh, no, I didn't.
Oh, there goes production now. Chicken Gate.
How did you do it?
Maybe up a little wee bit less.
I
Hello, Mel. How are you? It's a very quiet night here. Normally on Friday night we'd have 30, 40 aircraft take off. I think I can see one light aircraft at the moment coming in. That's all. What'd you have for dinner? I had some of my curry from last night. It was good. Just had a couple of bits of bread with it. You haven't heard. I forgot. Oh no. Be right back. Actually, Mr. Garner was just gone in to get a dressing gown. And she never said be right back. Ooh-ah, as Australians say. Ooh-ah. A couple of chickens from next door come over today. It's quite funny. Building a retaining wall down the back corner to try and get a level. So we had to dig down the footings. So we opened up the bottom of the fence a bit and the chicken said, "Yay, I'm free." warm here today. I'm sure it was the same in Dura. It's 31 or 32 here. Same tomorrow. But I'm enjoying the cooler nights. It's good. I don't know if the missus is making a cuppa. She may be. Wouldn't want a cuppa, actually. I can see her wandering in the kitchen. I think she's going to the loo, though. It's as quiet as a mouse's home without the television on. Squeak, squeak. Ooh la. No one would have believed the turn of the 21st century that man would be studied like bacteria in a petri dish. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, dun, dun. Ooh, la. Good listen, actually. You ever listen to War of the Worlds? The Richard Burton one. Very good. We'll be listening to lots of radio shows in the near future. My daughter-in-law came around this morning to take her little daughter to school, popped in, and I said, "Are you hungry?" She said, "Oh, yeah." 4 rashers of bacon, 2 eggs, 2 large pieces of toast, grilled tomato. It just disappeared within seconds. She's built like a broomstick, but there's the appetite of an African elephant. But she enjoyed it. What has everyone been up to? We did get the kitchen bench measured and a template made today. Well, 3 templates. And that should be going on about this time next week. I've organised the tiles for a splashback on the walls. In about a week's time, hopefully the kitchen will be very close to being finished. One of our American friends have started to receive their $1,000 checks. Interesting. talked last night about thinking that the first state in America that would be closed would be California. Lo and behold, this morning, California is closed for business. We did have a cruise ship disembark Sydney a few days ago. 2,700 people on board. The cruise ship did go from Sydney and it went to about 7 ports in New Zealand. So about a 10-day trip. And they all got off the boat. And then a few people fell sick. And now we have 2,700 people, of which many will have the virus, walking amongst people in Sydney. That's the last thing they needed to do. A coffee is presented. Thank you very much. Applause rains out across the world. Cheers.
Who's there?
I don't know.
My Mel.
Mel's here. The rest are remaining silent, pleading the fifth.
Mel, you forgot to be right back?
No, she did.
I'll go back. I will go back. Oh, I come in the room and she's gone.
Very quiet. Yeah, I just read online about 2,700 people disembarked a ship in Sydney a couple of days ago. Because it left Sydney and went round to New Zealand and back, there was no check. Now people on board that boat have been diagnosed with the virus. And there's 2,700 people wandering around Sydney.
I thought all borders were closed 2 days ago. I thought all ships were told they couldn't dock anywhere.
I agree, but what they're saying was, oh yeah, but it came from Australia, went round New Zealand and came back. So no checks were made. You have the Heineken virus. My ass is speaking Dutch. Dutch is good. Oh
Yeah.
dear. Bubbly farts. Not good.
So, here's one for you, Jojo. And you're there, yeah? You used to cough to cover a fart, but now you fart to cover a cough.
Right. Mystic Angel's words of wisdom
Yes.
for Friday night. Hope all is well with you, Jojo. You and your kind. You know, the kind people. You and your kind people. They've closed California. I think Jojo's hovering above the state in a blimp, saying, "You'll not take me alive. None of you." Yes. Well, we canned international arrivals in Australia and departures. So there's no international flights. And today, because Australia is a big country, they are thinking of domestic flights being cancelled as well. So no flying.
Hey, Mel. Jojo, I already said hello, Jojo. There's your stars, Mel.
Congratulations. The winner of the Academy Award in Gold Stars will be right back. Nominations are VMAC, Buttercup, Mel, and the winner is, drumroll,
I freaking hardly
Mel
hear you.
from Dura.
Mel wins.
Acceptance speech about to be heard. I'd like to thank my dogs, my husband,
got the
My
volume off
natural.
on your phone?
Hmm?
You
I
got the-
don't think it makes any difference.
Well, apparently yesterday it did. When you went out and I was
I
talking.
just talked louder yesterday. Didn't change anything.
No, I.
Hello, testing volume 1, 2, 3. Can you hear me? Now you talk.
Hello.
Did you hear her?
No, it probably hasn't got her ears in. Probably got the volume down.
Hmm?
She's probably got the volume down. Thinking, why
she's-
can't I hear?
And she can't read lips because I've not got the camera on. Yeah, no, light aircraft are still flying here, Jojo. Not many, but a few are. People aren't being told to shut down, but people are shutting down anyway, like at one of our grandson's schools. They were told today, my grandson said, the teachers talked to us and said, if you do not wish to come to school, it's okay. I have no doubt the teachers are just concerned for children and themselves. So that's the message, is from teachers to students in Australia. If you don't want to come to school, it's okay, you're not going to get in trouble. So kids are staying home. Restaurants are not having anyone patronise them. They've got this law in place that every 4 square metres, or in American terminology, every 12 square feet, you can only have one person. So little cafes are closed. They don't have big floor space. Everyone's self-shutting down without authority saying so. This is Friday night in Australia, with the biggest night for people to go out, just about. And no one's going out. Got a huge movement here. I'm sure it's the same there, Jojo. I actually phoned an ex-Prime Minister today. His name was Bill Shorten. An ex-opposition leader. And I left a message for Bill saying all these restaurants are going to close because they don't have any patronage, and they certainly can't meet the criteria of what the government want. But you could combine 2 things here. There are plenty of old people terrified, and no one visits them, and they don't know what's going on, and they are so anxious and nervous. Why not get restaurants with government money to say $3 a meal, make me 200 meals in this suburb, another restaurant 200 in that suburb, etc., etc. The volunteer list of people who would deliver them is unbelievably large. So combining the 2 things, you'd have people very elderly and obviously scared who get visits and have food delivered. But I also mentioned that whilst that's happening, have a nurse go with the people that are delivering the food and get her to ask, or him to ask, several questions about your health, how you're feeling, and maybe some would be picked up and taken into care just for their own safety. And it was received quite well because it would help some restaurants just to stay afloat. You know what I mean, Jojo? They're not going to thrive on $600 or $700 a day, but they'll be able to keep 1 or 2 staff. They would be functioning as a restaurant without the doors being open, and the meals could be delivered to the elderly and the vulnerable by volunteers, carefully, of course, along with the nurse to check on their health status. Not only their health, but also their mental health. And I can see it from the old person's view. They get a knock on the door, an old lady says, hello, and they say, we've got a meal for you, maybe toilet roll, a couple of bits of fruit. Also, if you'd like the nurse, just to quickly check to see if you're okay. $1,200 for 2 months. It takes 6,000 to keep my license. Yep. Yeah, it's not as if you can't keep working. It's just that the wheels around you of industry and commerce are grinding to a halt, Jojo. So Some businesses cannot function without the wheels of commerce working with them. In Australia, the banks, and this has happened all over the world, of course, have dropped their interest rates to zero basically. But the banks stood up today, and I admire them for what they're doing. They are freezing mortgages for 6 months. Business loans are being frozen. And it's hard to explain to people what that would do. That allows the bank not to foreclose on people. But what it also does, it allows people to get by. So they're talking 6 months, which is good. There are extraordinary measures going on. There's money being pumped into the system, figuratively in the digital world, but also, look, all these reserve banks around the world are going to print more money. You know that, Jojo. Hello, Tony. Got the solar on today, and I finally got the app to see what I'm producing, Tony. Around about 32 kilowatt a day. So that's more than enough. We don't use anywhere near that. I think yesterday it was very cloudy and we got down to 24, and today was about 25, but 32 the very first day. Money is not the issue. You're dead right, Jojo. Freezing interest, loans, mortgages also does two things. If, say, I've got an investment property, let's say Mel is renting my property for $400 a week, and I've got a loan on that to be an investment property, and that mortgage of mine is probably $2,000 a month minimum. Well, if the bank freezes my mortgage, it would allow me to not charge rent. In other words, I'm happy to be frozen in time, if you like, financially, for my investment property, but also my investment loan. What's good for goose is good for gander. That will help a lot of people. It won't stop the demise of some situations, but that would be a good thing. I don't collect rent, but I don't pay a mortgage.
You've got to actually ring your bank, Mel, and
It's
talk to them.
just been announced today, Mel. You will be able to apply for a 6-month freezing of your mortgage. And your investment property, if you've got one, that you can freeze that as well. It works two ways though, like if someone's paying you rent, that might get frozen, so they don't pay you anything, but you're not paying any mortgage. So just everything freezes in time. So it sounds, at least it's an effort to let people survive the next 6 months. Everyone's in the same boat.
Yeah. Yeah, I get what you're saying, Mel.
But getting back to Jojo, when the Reserve Bank prints money, it automatically devalues your currency. But if the whole world prints money, everyone is devalued equally. And that's what they're planning, I'm sure. It's not going to be individual countries like just Australia or America. All countries will print more money to give people to spend. It's like not real money, I've got to be honest with you, but it's tangible, accepted by others to buy things. So that's happening. A digital print-off of trillions of dollars is occurring. You should be getting money shortly, Mel. Yes, that's one thing that you're going to see, Jojo. And Jojo, even though that was tongue-in-cheek, people are going to go to ATM shortly, Jojo, and there won't be any cash in them.
Mel, I'll take you to get your hair done.
Which you want?
Mel doesn't qualify. Well, just double check, Mel, because I keep changing it.
If you've paid tax, Mel, you qualify. It's all a bit muddy at the moment, but if you're paying tax, you will get paid.
Mel, I'll take you for a pedicure, manicure, whatever they call it. Hair
And
done.
I'll take you for a G-string realignment. Yeah, back her up, back her work. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, righto, slip her on. No,
Yeah, that's a different package,
no,
Mel.
there's a different one, Mel. Don't worry about it. Don't worry, it's coming, don't worry. But the big, I'm going to wait. I still haven't seen it, so wait, I wanted to get the disgusting. There it is! Woo, yeah, I got me a disgusting. Took a while, but I got it. Yes, I think you'll be even more aware than I, but particularly California. They will be rounding up itinerants very shortly, because not only are they vulnerable, they are a petri dish to pass on the virus to others. There'll be a hue and a cry, and you know this is not right, but it will happen. You're all going on a summer holiday. FEMA's the place to be. The figures are staggering in the US so early on. Correct me if I'm wrong, Jojo, but I believe California's infectious rate is up to 1,000 already. That is staggering. And the Chinese have been coming forth with information in regards to younger people that are recovering, and some have passed on. And they're highlighting the fact that the severity from the age of 20 to 40 is terrible. Their recovery is quite slow and lasting minimized immunology in their bodies. So this is not a breeze for any age group. Definitely elderly with existing medical conditions are very vulnerable. But this is not what young people think. I'm hearing young people say, oh no, we're good, it won't affect us. That's not coming out now. It's true that very few of them do pass on, but they do. But they are severely affected as well.
It's getting to the point anyone with any underlying issue is vulnerable. Doesn't matter what age you are, because it's probably already mutated. That's why initially it was like what you said, elderly and sick.
Hello, Buttercup.
But now I reckon it's mutated and nobody's immune.
Most, and I'll give caution to what I say, most viruses that mutate get weaker. They're the facts. That is a fact. Doesn't mean it will be so. Spanish flu didn't get weaker. I think we've got to do, Jojo, the best we can with what we've got. And I seriously did call the leader of the opposition of Australia. And the message was well received in combining saving some restaurants and cafes by producing food for the elderly. And there's a plethora of people that will deliver it for free. And along with the idea of a nurse being in attendance on each of the deliveries. Now, even just 2 people could deliver 200 meals in a few hours every night. Or even 2 meals, one for tonight and one for the next. But at least the elderly would have visits from people and get to hear some news, because they're terrified. They are very vulnerable and no one's talking to them. So I decided to call the opposition leader of Australia and say, this would be a good idea. Have a look at it. I think it's probably what everyone's thinking though, JJ. I think it's like pretty obvious. If you can save restaurants by just maintaining some sort of cash flow, and the elderly get visits and they get food and they get explanations and their fears are allayed somewhat, it's got to be better than not doing anything. And for sure, do it for free for the first 3 months and then say to the old folk, look, it'll be $3 a meal. And they'll say, yeah, no worries. They're not going to complain, but do it for free at first to build confidence in the aged population that they're not being scammed or suckered, if you know what I mean, because that's what they'll be fearing as well. So I don't know whether I'll get a call back or whether I'll get a letter or an email, But I do hope at least someone looks at that. Because if you can even save 1 in 10 restaurants from going under because they provide food for the elderly and also the disadvantaged, not just the elderly. There could be a land army effect where people mobilise to help strangers, strangers helping strangers.
You'll be right, Mel. So get your hair done.
My mate works at the Rava. Oh yeah, that's a good spot. That means we'll get discount. Mind you, the food's so cheap there.
Yeah, but right now it's probably...
It's probably dead as a dodo at the Rava, I imagine. Yeah, you're right, Buttercup.
Yeah, Mel, I've heard that.
Yeah. These are extraordinary times, and we have, as a group of people, are only a handful. But just be strong, stand up. This shit happens in life all the time. This is a big pile of shit. And if we can help ourselves, good. But let's not forget helping others.
Yes.
JP in the room. Tra-la-la-la-la. Welcome, JP.
Solar's up, JP.
Yep. Ticked over 32 kilowatts in one day. I'm a power station now. Yep. Yeah, a lot of things are happening, Mel, without intervention. People are not taking kids to school. And, 30% of kids in our area are not going to school. And that's how it is. Woo, man. But we all got to do what we can.
Yeah,
School is still on. It's just that 30% of the kids are not going. Parents have said no. Yeah, good one, JP. Good one. We had a long talk with my son on the phone last night, trying to get into could possible be ahead. Yeah. I mean, he could come home and remotely work from your place, Buttercup.
Yes, Mel, that's right. He'd better well back off that.
Yeah, I'm not sure where Denny is today. She might be
No,
working.
she's probably been working or she's busy. Yeah, union.
We are one, Mel.
Oh,
We are many from around the Boyd we come.
Go on, kick on.
No, pay-per-view after that. Just a teaser like a trailer.
Oh, okay. Just preparing everyone for your Patreon.
No, that'll never happen.
We know that.
Well, it's very simple, Buttercup. It's a bit tough, but he comes home, he uses one toilet, he goes and has his own plate and bowl, and he just has to go through the 14 days. Not easy, but it's possible. There are descriptions of people living in the same home, minimising contact and eating off different food and different plates and different bowls, sterilising, and they're in the same home.
Yep, that's right. Mel Seeds is the same. Can make something out of nothing.
Yeah, food's not the issue. We've got to be honest here. We can survive, all of us. It's the stir-crazy effect of being locked in that you need to face the reality that what you normally do isn't normally happening. Absolutely, Mel. And we got news this morning that it's not happened yet, but domestic flights within Australia are more than likely to be cancelled shortly as well. So no movement between states, no international movement.
No, because New South Wales is just ridiculous.
I don't think you were here, Buttercup, when I explained what happened this morning. The news revealed a ship carrying 2,700 people left Sydney about 10 days ago, went round New Zealand and got home. And everyone just walked off the ship.
Back in Sydney.
Back in Sydney. And now half a dozen have the virus. And the government is scrambling to find the other 2,700 people in Sydney, JP. No, don't freeze eggs. You can do. One way to do it effectively is to freeze the whites and freeze the yolks separately.
Yeah, but I don't know if it's for 12 months.
No, I wouldn't freeze eggs anyway. Eggs are good in your fridge for 2 to 3 months,
And
JP.
remember, you can eat any egg.
Any egg? You happen to find a koala egg, you can knock into that. They're not that cheap to buy, of course, koala eggs, and they're a little bit sort of dungy tasting, but still, it's better than eating a sheepdog. Food is not going to be an issue. If you have to live off ramen noodles, so be it, you'll live. You might even learn Cantonese during the process. So they're very alarmed here, Buttercup, that 2,000 people are walking around where JP is right now with no screening.
I think JP might not think what you said about that cruise ship.
Yeah, there's a cruise ship docked 2 days ago, JP, in Sydney. It left Sydney, went round New Zealand for 10 days and got back home. And now they've been reported to have been infected, but they're all living around Sydney. They're all being rounded up.
Well, they're trying to find them all.
It's a big uh-oh, what did we do wrong here moment. You've turned him into Manu.
Chickpea.
Hello, my little Mel. My husband, why do you speak to me like that? Because you have turned me into Manu. There's only one thing for you, JP.
See you, Jojo.
See you, Jojo. Have a great day, mate. There's only one thing for you, JP. You're going to have to take some tucker and go and live out Picnic Rock. You know, the hanging one.
Yeah.
You're going to have to live there for 6 months.
Yeah.
Chickpea curry is yum,
I love chickpeas.
because I like the chickpea left in its natural state, not squished into that mush they put into a bowl. Yes, definitely. And of course, the other place that is very similar to a cruise ship is prisons. Haven't heard anything yet.
No, but then again, they might, if they stop visitors, they might be able to keep it out of the prison system.
Not if someone, as a prison officer, goes home and has a barbecue with some friends and then goes back to work.
Yeah, that's right. They've got to watch that.
Anyway, we've just got to tough it out, smarten up.
Oh, Mel, we had chooks in our yard today.
You'll see a video late tomorrow night when I release it of week 27, and the chickens are on it.
And then Caesar's having a nana nap. I came out the back and I have a look, and here's this chook sitting on one of these chairs. Just sitting there, like he was roosting there for the night.
Yep.
So I had to slowly chase him back down out the hole back so they'd go home.
Well, if you think about the ramp, it's a bit like a chicken coop ramp.
Just cheeky bugger. And then they tried to get up on those things there to, like they got at the top but couldn't quite,
Jump over.
even though the height distances are the same now, they just couldn't work out that last bit. So I got them home anyway. But the one that was trying to get in there, that's funny. He must have thought that must have been one hell of a chicken coop. He I could roost on that box there.
Mm. Well, I mean, come the hard times, JP, I've euthanised, I'll use that word, chickens in the past to put in the pot without a qualm.
Yes, these were big chicks actually.
I will eat anything if I have to.
Black ones. Is there a chance that there's a sleeping tomorrow?
Yep. Other than the painter coming.
Oh, that's right.
But he's quiet as a mouse anyway.
Yeah, he doesn't come before 10 anyway.
So we'll get a good look at our finishing antique white paint tomorrow. I finally worked out how to get the app on my solar, and I could see what we're producing now, so that's good.
Well, whatever way you want it to go, Buddy, if you want your son home safe, we will pray that he gets there safe. And then stays with you, hey?
Yeah, it's not as if you can't get food though, JP, but you may be reluctant to join the hordes, because that's what it's becoming at supermarkets. Go down really early or go down real late, and it's still fairly busy.
Like we all know, there is no shortage of food. It's just the people that are going ridiculous and going from shop to shop.
And yesterday I made up a curry out of half a kilo of shin beef, veggies, and onions and garlic, and we had that as a meal last night with rice. Tonight I had another bowl, and there's still enough for another meal. So you can make food stretch. Yeah, just keep doing it, JP. It's like the worst scenario is I have to eat a tin of baked beans in the morning and let's say a tin of braised steak at night. I won't like it, I'll be honest with you. Mind you, I do like baked beans.
Yeah, baked beans we like.
But because we're not going to be that active, I'm pretty good to go as far as that being enough for me to eat. I will do a video shortly, I promise to, in just making the simple unleavened bread. No yeast, just water basically and flour, pinch of salt, and make like little pita breads. It's still bread, it's not the same as buying a loaf of bread, don't get me wrong, but you can make them a bit like a big round pancake type size, and you can put cheese and lettuce and tomato in it and whatever else you like, and you have bread. Because one thing that people will miss if there isn't any is bread.
Me.
Who had just worked a 40-hour shift, yep, and went to buy fresh food. Shelves were bare, very upsetting. Yep. Well, I mean, the good thing about your obesity, JP, it's just in your head.
Yeah.
The rest of your body is normal proportioned, but your head's like a fucking watermelon, let's be honest. I mean, it's like, you know, elephant man type size. It's, you know, like, you're my friend, so I you know, wrap my arm around you and still like you as a friend, but you've got a head like a watermelon, let's be honest.
Well, right now you'd be wrapping your arm around him at arm's length.
This is true. May I have some pepper? Thank you. My name is not Manu. Yeah, so don't be frightened of picking up some bits and pieces extra, JP, but I would encourage all of you very soon just to stay home for a month. Minimise your contacts. It's going to be really tough to do that, but you can all do it.
Well,
Yeah.
just the socialising with the family, if you cut those visits back, if they're still having to go out to work. But I'd be fine. I'd find things to do for a month.
We've got plenty of work here to
Yeah,
do, don't worry.
exactly.
So what else has been happening in your world other than obviously all being a little bit anxious about what's happening, but any plans to go anywhere or do something? I live hours away from my family, but they're the in-laws. Cough, cough. Yeah, well, you can pick your friends, Buttercup. You can't pick your in-laws.
Buttercup said that or JP? JP said that.
JP said that, sorry. Yes, but California, I just spoke about this last night, saying the first state I believe will close would be California, and that's what they've done. Doesn't all go well for itinerant van dwellers and homeless people, because they will be seen as vulnerable and they will be transferred somewhere, I think. Well, we did the same thing, JP, about 4 weeks ago. We talked about it and we decided not to book to go to the United States. And sad, but that's just how it is. Not as if one day we won't get there, but won't be for a while. Good time for people all around the world to visit their own place. Pick up your kids, put them in the car and go down the river. It'll be just you and the family. Do a bit of fishing, mucking about, laughing, have a barbecue, go home. Go to the beach, drive up the mountains. You can still do stuff. They've already announced that they will honour people's purchases even if you may not be able to fly. So, yeah, look, I mean, you're not going to be able to book on an airline shortly anyway, JP. They've cancelled all international flights until further notice, and they're just about to cancel domestic flights in Australia. That decision will be made in the next 36 hours, we're told, which means they'll make it. They wouldn't have brought it up otherwise. I don't think they'll ever close fully, don't get me wrong. I think they'll shut down parts of public transport, but they won't be able to close it completely, i.e. nurses, doctors, medical professionals, you name it, ancillary health workers, all have to get to work. Maybe what will happen is that they'll be given a special card that allows them to go on public transport. Even, I believe I've read in my city, Perth, there's distancing laws on trains and buses, and the driver, if he has X amount of people on board the bus, won't stop at the next stop if he has X amount of people. He'll advise the people that they're technically full, even though there are plenty of seats available. So it means a bus here in Perth, you might have normally 60 people can fit on it, you'll probably have 12. The world will look identical, Buttercup. It's not lost on me, we are just one species. The world, ironically, will be cleaner to a degree. Even in a short burst, we are watching the unfolding of industry to the extent parts of China is now smog-free, which has been smogged up for 30 years. Probably look healthier, yeah. But there may come times, even with public transport, they may close during a peak period of this virus. That may happen. People aren't going to go without food. I already know that there will be distribution, if required, by the armed services in this country, the Army Reservists, volunteer, SES. They will all be geared up to go down every street in Australia and make sure people are fed if need be. Yep, that's what I mean, Buttercup. The non-influence of human waste and destruction is already showing in a few weeks, which is staggering people like
Oh, really?
environmentalists.
In Venice, how come it's all of a sudden clear water and fish? Because there's no people on it.
Well, yeah, people are dirty little buggers.
So what? Well, where are they finally putting their rubbish in the bin or something instead of in the canals?
Well, less people, less pollution.
I have to check that out. That seems like a big change quickly, hey?
But we need to be resourceful. Other words, like Mel said earlier, have the skill to produce food from nothing. We're a 90% exporter of food, JP. In other words, we only keep 10% for ourselves. We have more than enough food. In fact, what will happen is that food prices, particularly fresh food, will get cheaper. That looks yum. Did she say what it is?
Brilliant.
Chicken something?
No, potato thing.
It looks absolutely yum. Oh, it's stuffed potatoes. Yum.
That's what Jess was making.
Yeah. Yes, in case of dire consequences, we're all moving to Mel's place. Because she can turn a sour ear into a super piss.
Well, hopefully people don't forget all this when everything settles down. But people will.
Past your bedtime, JP. May your dreams be sweet and full of dancing naked virgins. Because that's as close as you're going to get to them. Powerball, isn't that fantastic? Ladies and gentlemen, JP has just won Powerball. And his dream, what's your dream, JP? I like to travel the world.
Oh, yeah.
Alright, JP says, alright, I've got 80 million. I'm going for a first class drive tour of Dubbo. Yeah, I'm living the life, the dream. I've been to Dubbo
Yes.
when no one else would. Could have gone to Orange, but I didn't want to, for sure.
Some do pass on their knowledge, but it's just like you say, to the ones who are willing to listen.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea. Eat all the endangered weird species. Maybe start up with a little bit of bat ratatouille, that'd be nice. Half-cooked rat in a nice blood stew, yeah, that'd be a good starter. Followed by shaved rhino horn, I think would be good. Just with a nice steak tartare of rhino for main course. followed by, I don't know, maybe one of them South American little rats, that whatever they're called in the zoo, spit roasted, and with a nice dew of giraffe blood put over across the top. Yeah, it'd just be you and 9,000 Chinese sitting down to eat.
Yuck.
All right, mate, be safe.
Night. Don't forget Belle. She's probably not listening in the background. Come on, JP, give another woo. Good night.
Think what I'll do next week, Buttercup, I'll find all the old Vera Lynn songs, war songs, get dressed up in 1940 clothing, which is pretty close because most of my clothes are from the 70s. Just turn the lapel down a bit and I'll be in the 1940 clothing range. Do little singer songs. Just like the good old days.
Buddy, have you done a cookbook up for your kids? They might not appreciate it now, but have you written a cookbook for each of your kids of stuff they liked as children or what you make? I did that for my kids.
Yes, well, meet again. Don't know where, don't know how when. But some sunny day, far, far away. It will bring, like I said, the worst and the best out in humanity. Absolutely.
Well, there you go. Get some nice, a special book each. Like I just got a fancy, you know, you can get those blank paged hardcover books, decorated a little bit, did like page numbers and all that, and I did recipe books for the girls.
I don't know how many times I've done cooking videos, but it's a lot. And I do know some people have told me that all they have done over the years is download them. So they've got my recipes on file. Mind you, a lot of my recipes, people get annoyed because they say, how much flour did you put in? And how much of that? And I go, a pinch of this, a dab of that, mix it in, taste it. And they go, oh, but can you tell me, is it a quarter teaspoon or is it half? I go, no, it's a pinch and a dab. Get used to it.
Yep, the daughter's good. She's gonna find out next week what she's having. Whether she tells everybody is another thing.
But she's getting a big lass, that's for sure.
Yeah, she's carrying fluid though.
Yes, it was pretty obvious. I grabbed her by the ankle the other day and gently pressed in and it stayed white for about 10 minutes. That's fluid. As soon as we finish painting the walls, I shall paint the skirting boards. And I'll be just ahead of the carpet being laid. Yes, cankles, that's it. And then everything rapidly comes together. Air conditioner goes in. And we shall then move into the new section of the house. It's good. We had the guy come today to measure the templates for the bench tops. He will be back here this time next week, Thursday or Friday. They will be installed. Hopefully the electrician comes and plugs the oven and the exhaust fan in, and the gas man will come back and plug the sink in, plumb it in with the gas stove. It doesn't take a lot to do all of that time-wise, but they just got to get here to do it. Painting will be finished.
Tomorrow the
Carpet
painters
will be in.
Yeah, tomorrow the painter's coming.
And then we'll get these beds delivered. And the first night we'll be in the room, we're going, can't sleep, this is weird.
It is going to
I'm
seem
facing a
weird.
different way.
What side of the bed are you sleeping on?
Obviously near the door.
Well, that's right.
You hate being near a door.
Because it works out that way. How we're sleeping now, transition to this room, that's right. I have to be closest to the loo, because I go more than you.
Mm-hmm.
But then I'll worry flushing the toilet will wake you up in the middle of the night.
No, don't worry, mate. Does not worry, mate.
So all the exciting things to do. Buy extra bedding.
A lounge. Got to get a lounge.
Yeah, well, it's not like we don't have somewhere to sit right now while stuff gets organised.
Oh, did you chase up the aerial connections?
Ah, no, I forgot about that.
Give you one job to do.
Well, it's still a couple of weeks away before that.
Yeah, I know, I'm
is set up.
joking. I'm just
Do you
saying.
know you can get a brace for that TV that you attach to your cupboard?
What do you mean a brace?
Because the law concerning children knocking TVs and stuff down on themselves now.
Never heard of it. The TVs are designed to stand on the stands.
Yeah, but they get pushed easy by little ones.
I will just tie the kids up. Stick them on a length of rope.
No, because Terry and Jess got one. I don't know if they put it back on yet, but they had one. I'm going to look into it because you don't want to.
So, I don't know. I'll try and get round. It's just going to be flour, water, and salt at a cup, unleavened.
They will be when the kitchen's done.
Probably a week. Just so people know that if we've got flour and they've got water, and it's up to you, pinch of salt if you want to. And you can put other things in there.
I suppose you could, if it's an okay day, you could hook up that little oven out here sometime and do it in the next couple of days.
I don't need an oven to do it.
Well, how are you going to bake the bread?
Just in a cast iron fry pan.
Oh, okay.
Like you make your,
Oh, yes.
but so it'll just be a very simple,
Yeah.
if you like, pita type bread. Something the Romans would have cooked. Not the same as sliced bread.
I have to get in tomorrow and also tidy up that pantry a bit, as in we pushed everything back to the wall, which I prefer everything to the front.
Yeah, I don't.
But
I don't like wasting space.
But you're wasting space in the front.
Oh, you
Wasting space either way.
Pantry is my domain.
No, it's not
I give
all
you
your
permission
domain.
to enter my pantry area.
No. No, just all shoved in the back. It's just not right. Open today and I look. Right,
Do you realise you bring too much forward? There's too much weight on the front of the cupboard.
I will distribute it evenly. What about too much weight at the back?
That's fine. It's centrifugally balanced. It's like a bookcase. I'll give you an idea. If you've got a bookcase and you stick all the books right at the edge, the bookcase will fall over. You saw a recipe for that kind of recipe with sour cream. Yep, you can add all sorts of things to it. Yogurt. You can let the bread. You can make your own sourdough starter. Same thing.
Oh,
But I'm just going to show people the basic of getting flour out mixing it. You can use an egg if you want to.
Isn't it amazing? You mix flour and water gives you glue, but then you chuck an egg in gives you bread. Where
No.
does
Flour and water gives you bread. You don't need an egg.
Where does the glue go?
No, it's just sticky stuff, that's all.
Yeah, but you used to use it for glue. When you had no money, you had to make your own glue, which was flour and water.
They've been making bread for a very long time, and trust me, there wasn't much sliced bread around Rome at the turn of the.
That's all right, Butty. You must
Last
have
millennium.
my keyboard.
Simple foods: potatoes, carrots, onions, garlic, vegetables. You don't have to have meat. It's nice to have meat, but you don't have to have it.
Most of our kids, it's not a meal if it hasn't got meat, eh?
Well, that's what they've been brought up on.
Yeah, see, but I've always been not a big meat eater. But I've always cooked it for the kids, so yeah, I suppose in that respect you're right.
There's nothing like a simple, like, potato bake.
Well, we've got to keep the troops entertained. We're buffering.
We're buffering?
Yeah.
Mayday. Buffer 1 to buffer 2, over.
We've got to keep the lurkers entertained, Butty. Actually, it's been not too bad. Signal right down the back here. I know it's only got one wall to go through.
Yeah, but it's about 40 odd feet.
We'll still try and get that thing working, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's still okay.
Yeah. Because that thing can only be so far from the modem. I can't plug it in down the back here.
What-
It's got to
what are you
be
talking about?
the thing you bought, the extender.
We can be anywhere within range.
Yeah, that's right.
Probably put it somewhere like in the spare socket where the TV goes against the wall. Yes. CIA, FBI, the CDC are now watching. You must remember
Probably
that.
YouTube are watching as well, because
Our
YouTube
kisses
are actually
are
taking videos down if there's title
A
anything to do with Corona
is a sign
or
of fundamental thing.
I'll just signal sing over the top of me talking.
As time go by.
Oh, shut up.
Fine, I am shutting up now.
No, I'll finish talking now. You can sing. Yep, two's gone. That's because we mentioned them, Butty, because we said the lurkers, they're all now thinking, oh, they know we're here.
They found me out.
Yes.
Buttercup has X-ray vision. Yes. It certainly is going to be an interesting month, for sure. But hunker down, do what you got to do, protect yours and your loved ones. Give advice to your kids, because I've been doing the same thing, Buttercup. Said to our daughter-in-law today after I fed her half a pig and 3 eggs, that if you are going to wander off and socialise, you will not be coming here.
Well, she's cut back all that a week ago.
I just made it very clear that, you know, we don't want it passed amongst the family because we've just been a bit gregarious. The world has changed for the moment, and we have to appropriately change with it. I know our other daughter, she had to go and get her car looked at, and when she got there, they had a temperature gauge, pointed it at her forehead and said, yeah, it's okay. They wouldn't let her sit in the office. They spoke to her, she thought a little bit rudely, but look, these people in business are now living under a different protocol. And I said to my other daughter-in-law who was here, she found out that her other daughter was a bit upset about that. She said, oh yeah, but she was pregnant and maybe they could make concessions. I said, no. I said, you have to understand it from other people's points of view. They're not being mean. They're following a different protocol and
Yeah.
they are nervous.
And she accepted all that, but it's just some people feel like a leper. You can't even cough without thinking everyone's going to look at me. And you just a normal cough.
Tried to get a metaphor to explain it to her. I said, imagine your father, he's not well. He's very unwell. He's overweight and his knees and hips and has diabetes. And I said, would you let your father walk across the freeway? And she said, well, no, because he'd probably get hit. I said, yep, that's why the people in the car yard were a little bit off-puttish and didn't want any contact with her. They weren't being mean. And you're going to have a lot of these things occur all over the world in different places where people get offended. They have to realise that the world has changed. Hello, Vimac.
I didn't tell you when she got there and they took her temperature and all was fine. And I agree, they've got to look after themselves. I understand all that, but have a pack of wet wipes or something and spray in a plastic chair out the front.
It's not for other people to provide you with things like that.
But then her car needed checking because it could possibly have not been safe. Well, they weren't going to do anything about it. They weren't going to test drive the car. And then the other guy said, who was quite nice. There was one nice guy, one rude guy. He just went and got a tin of spray and sprayed the car, and he took it for the test drive.
Yep.
So the other guy, if he's that worried, okay, he needs work, he needs money, then possibly he shouldn't be going to work either.
Yeah, but the thing about human frailty is that one person sitting next to another, they may look exactly the same. Inside, one may be suffering in terrible anxiety. You might have 3 little kids at home and all that sort of thing. So this is playing on people's minds. So I know it's tough, and she felt offended, but if you reverse roles, then you would think, well, maybe she would say and do the same thing. So,
yeah.
But when Jess said, oh, they could have made exceptions because she's pregnant, I'm thinking, no, there are no exceptions under these protocols. Yes, that's true, VMAC. And VMAC, I did actually phone an opposition leader of our federal parliament today. And I passed on my thoughts about maybe saving a few restaurants or cafes by having them make up very basic meals and for volunteers to deliver them to the elderly, along with the delivery, a nurse to be in attendance. A, the old people might think, oh, people do care. And B, maybe the nurse can see if they need any medical attention or if they're susceptible. And it was pretty well received. And I don't know whether I'll hear back, but it's a thought process in saving some people's businesses, even if it'll only just keep them afloat, but also assuring the elderly that we do care.
Did you do your story, VMAC?
Yes, I saw your comment on my video. You actually turned off AdBlogger, which means I would obviously have received 1 cent from you. Thank you very much.
That's to buy me a chocolate.
A very small chocolate for 1 cent. Maybe just a wrapper. Yep, that's happening here as well. A lot of Uber are not delivering people at all. That's true. There's good and bad in all age groups, Buttercup. But as you get older, you can discern from them the deception, particularly. On YouTube, it might take a while, but you discern eventually.
Oh, good. They're making requests. That's what I thought would be a good idea.
They're making requests now. Oh, I see. Am I going to be a guest story reader
No, they're making
to the function?
quest for stories, not readers.
Oh, I see. I'm obviously dismissed. Fine. I'm not going to be an international celebrity then, VMAC. Is that what you're saying?
Hey, Betty, you could do something like that. Is there something you could read to the hedgehogs?
Actually, Buttercup would remember this one. GP hopped on the little canal boat, and Hanny looked and waved. Do you remember those stories, Buttercup? GP? Mostly requests for authors. Well, I've written.
Okay, so
I'm not published, but I have written.
See, you've just, VMAC, you've just made Seeds a bit sad.
No, I got over it quick. I wonder how many hamsters and guinea pigs they used in that show, Buttercup. Many, I imagine.
In what show?
I'm not sure what the show was called, but it had GP and Hammy. And that was always on Little Adventures. They were just hamsters,
Oh, I don't know that.
pet rats,
Yeah.
and
My favourite.
moles and all sorts of things.
Oh my God.
Real animals.
My favourite was, what's his name? Sooty. I used to love watching Sooty. And who was that fox, that cheeky fox? Yeah. Oh my God, I love that show. I always wanted a puppet fox after watching that. What was that fox's name?
Probably my favourite cartoon character was, I actually got you a little teddy bear out of it, was from Ice Age.
Mm-hmm.
The squirrel. I thought it was so funny.
You took ages to find that little squirrel.
Margaret Atwood's works. I hate Margaret Atwood. And I will change the storyline just to piss off Margaret. Yes. Old people won't know because they're going, oh, that's not how it goes. It's one of Margaret Atwood's new works.
Alright, so there was a show, it was just called Sooty, and it was a white puppet bear. I think he had a partner with him. It was just funny, but the fox one, oh my God, it all had two meanings to it. It was a kid's show, but as you got older, actually I'll have a quick look because it's going to bother me now. What was he called?
Chim chimney chim 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 chiroo. VMAC is reading Margaret's work, but she doesn't like her too. She'll change the story and make it a horror one. And all the old folk will throw Margaret Atwood's books in the bin. Chim chimney, chim chimney, chim chim chiroo. Yes, sometimes authors do annoy me as well, because I don't like how they take the story, how the angles are stupid sometimes.
Damn, this is going to annoy me now till I find
Paddy
this
Town's
show.
Tales. I'm not sure. I remember watching a TV show in the UK, Buttercup. If you remember this, it does indicate that you were from the same era as me. Do you remember the television show called Z-Cars? Probably one of the very first sort of policey type shows on television, to be honest. Of course, on a Wednesday night, gathered round the radio and listened to all of these. Even Steptoe and Son was on the radio, along with the Goons. Quite a lot of radio shows. Z-Cars was a radio show that I remember. And later on in Australia, I actually got to see the television version. I always thought it was a bloody radio show.
Something Fox or Fox something. Basil Fox.
Yep.
Was it? Let me type that in and see.
Basil Brush.
Basil Brush, that's it. I knew,
10 points to Seeds.
I knew between us we'd
He used to talk like this.
I didn't quite talk like that.
Well, something like that.
If I find him on YouTube, then I can put a link in. Basil Brush. Oh my god, I used to love that show. Boom Boom. You probably won't find him funny when you watch him.
Oh, I think Billy was a one-off mould, I'm afraid. One of the old English actors I used to like watching, because I thought he was suave, sophisticated, and very funny, was David Niven.
I used to laugh.
Yeah, that's the one.
Oh my god.
And he used to say, boom, boom.
Yep.
Yes, he did. Yeah. And as a young man, I think that's where I got some of my dry humour from. He had a lot of pathos, dry humour, and witty, I suppose is the word.
Now I've got to see if I can find the other one.
Yes, yes. Some of the old TV shows, I imagine, are not broadcast anymore because of that. Not PC acceptable.
Type in the ballad of the Dunny Roll. Okay, let me. Oh yeah, come up pretty straight away. Oh, yeah.
Is it that Aussie bloke?
Yeah, the one I
Yeah,
showed
yeah, we've
you,
seen that.
Snap VMAC, because I really truly was going to email you that tomorrow.
He presents that like a Banjo Patterson poem.
I think I sent it to you. Yeah, I sent it to you, Buddy. A couple of days ago, I think.
Of all the people that roam the world, old, young, and new, if you haven't got any dunny paper, it's hard to do a poo.
It's like play school was always pretty tame as I was growing up, but as you got older, it was hidden meanings in some of the things they used to do, but it's all changed now again.
Yes, Benita. Remember Benita with the curly hair?
Yes.
And there was some bloke
And
there.
the guy, the blonde-haired guy.
And there was one where they say, we're going to bounce up and down. Bouncing up and down. Look at Benita bounce. Bouncing up and down. Yes, Benita bounces really well.
And he tried not to laugh when he was saying it, remember?
A boobie's going up and down. Yes, we're bouncing, girls and boys. Look at John. He's bouncing up and down. Yes, Benita bounces better than me, though. Everything bounces on Benita.
I think that was his name too, wasn't it? And then
John.
John was pretending to be a ball of dough, and he's saying, now Benita's going to need me. Need me, Benita.
Yes, I'm a cow. Benita's going to milk me. Ooh, that feels good, getting rid of that excess milk, Benita. Thank you. It's like, hang on a second. The kids aren't getting it, but I am.
I know. Did you ever have shows like that, Play School, Butty and VMAC?
Yeah, they had schools like that.
Well, our Play School was Australian. Ours wasn't from...
No, but they're all different versions of children's programs that are similar.
There's a bear in there, and a chair as well. People with games and stories to tell. Open wide, come inside. It's Play School. I still remember it. HR Puffin stuff.
Hmm?
HR Puffin stuff.
Okay. We had Fred Penner and the Friendly Giant. There's one you'd all remember. I remember watching it in the late 60s in Australia. The Ghost and Mrs. Muir. Jack
yeah,
and
the
Nori, that's
Friendly
right, yeah.
Ghost.
Jack and Nori.
Casper the Friendly Ghost. Used to love that show too. Jack and Nori. Don't know that one, do you? Yes, Casper the Friendly Ghost.
At times they are changing.
You could do story time. When I unpack my boxes, I've got the complete works of the Brother Grimms.
Oh, that's a great man to bring out in these times. I'm going to tell you Grimm stories. I met my gal by the gasworks wall. Town,
Oh yeah, I saw some of that remake
dirty
actually.
old town.
I don't know why I sat and watched some of that, but came across it. Oh,
Had to
God.
be cheap and affordable in a van. I think Clueless is being far too generous. He just eats burgers, to be honest. But I think his eating days are going to be numbered in California. Because when they close a state, the state laws take place. A lot of people don't understand that in the US. You've got federal law, but it's the states who can introduce laws above the federal government. And if they say you ain't going nowhere, they mean you ain't going nowhere. I think there are swear words in there.
Oh, I'm glad I didn't have to approve your comment, Bucky.
Yes, I can see Buttercup in about 30 years sitting down with the BBC. Now, Buttercup, what was it like in the 20s? Oh, it was tough. It was so tough.
In 2020. You say it in the 20s. God, you're making it to 100 and something.
No, you know, like people from the Titanic they
Yes,
interviewed, the Buttercup would be like one of them. We were so poor, we used to eat gravel. Well, my neighbour couldn't afford gravel. It was dirt. Yeah, that's how it works in every country. Federal politics determine destination, but state politics determine law. Federal laws don't always hold up in state or provinces, I guess. But these are extraordinary times. They have a saying in the UK, the man in the van knows nout about nothing. That's true.
His stove doesn't work. How come his stove doesn't work?
It'd be a very funny video. Good content if he hasn't got a tin opener. Be gnawing at the side of the can. I'm so hungry.
No, he would have made sure.
I need to get to these meatballs.
He would have made sure he put ring pull ones.
Maybe I might have the strength to open them. Teeth marks all on this can. Couldn't get it open, so I ate the cat instead.
Oh, his fridge as well. I just read that comment. Jesus. But it was a van built. I don't get it.
Well, it wasn't open heart surgery. Just make shit look a bit. You can polish turd for 4 months, but you still end up with a turd. So that's what they've ended up with, a polished turd.
I thought it was like all hunky-dory, everything working.
Yes, indeed, Buttercup. Yep, we use bugger in Australia. But not to have any sense of reality at all, living a complete life of delusion, means your life is very precariously balanced between total failure and dismay. And at best, he will be only in dismay.
Well, I suppose it's up to him to get his fridge and stove working.
No, it's everyone else's fault.
Rosie just did the aesthetics, didn't she?
No, like I say, just polished a turd.
Yeah.
Well, he can't cook, Buttercup. He can cook as good as he sings, is the best way to explain it. Yes, that would be interesting. But mind you, does he wash? I thought he just rolled into a dry creek bed. It's very sad.
Oh my God, outside showering this. Oh well, he will get pulled up and made to go somewhere then, won't he?
They'll be seriously looking at right now about itinerants.
Yeah.
Just, for their safety and the safety of the general public, they will be the first to be moved somewhere.
Oh. No thanks, Buddy.
Yeah,
Drive
no.
into Walmart and see this thing standing there showering. Oh
You
my
come
God.
across something like the Buttercup, just hit reverse.
Oh, well, during this time maybe he'll lose weight.
No, he'll just eat more shit food. There'll be plenty of places that food will be given everywhere around the Western world. That won't be an issue.
Right.
I saw that years ago, Beamer, yeah. He bored me
Yes.
quickly, so I stopped watching him, but yeah. He's just a clever e-beggar, let's be honest.
He got real hate for that, didn't he, VMAX? I remember when he did that. Oh, you're putting soap into the environment or some, I don't know, all these different things were said about him doing it. I mean, who does that sort of thing anyway? Who showers in a car park outside?
I've skinny dipped in the ocean to get clean. That works.
Yeah, but that's
Bit different.
That's different. And when did you skinny dip in the ocean?
Oh, many times. Is he still going? I don't know.
Buffering.
I stopped watching him when I got... Yeah. Yeah, he was just frustratingly a liar and deceptive. And I can't be bothered with them.
Stop watching new accounts. Jesus, how many accounts have you got?
4,000, all with teeth. Bit hard to come back each time with the same picture though, VMAC, just a tip. Change his picture. I've only ever had one account. To buy land, and it is going to do the same with other parks. Desert bucket campers, yes. Well, like I say, during these times, that without doubt the National Guard will be rolled out. It will be a form of martial law without the words being used.
Sometimes I go and see what the update is on Slab City.
Slab City's a bit like Byron Bay without the ocean.
Well, do you reckon?
I imagine Rosie will be talking about the pandemic, the pandemic, the pandemic,
Oh, everybody is, really, when you think about it.
and giving expert advice. Funny how she took her smelly friend in the van to the Alamo one time and now has taken him to Hamburger Hill. Because when people don't become useful for you anymore, it's not as if she would be surprised saying, oh, he was an arsehole all along. Really? What, you didn't notice that? I think the lull in Rosie's action was her sneaking out for about 1, 2. Could be. Don't know.
Well, yeah, I suppose really going out church is not the best thing to do, is it?
We wouldn't be allowed to do it now.
No.
Not as if you'd see anything. Closed shops.
I mean, you can still go for a walk, but there'll be just no action.
Yeah, no. None of that will be accepted behaviour at the moment. I don't know. I mean, I don't really care if he's back there or not, but I don't care what he does. Very weird.
So what happened with all that stuff of the side of his van being damaged?
I don't know. No one, apparently he doesn't say anything about it. So obviously something has happened, or he would show it, I guess. But if he's banged into a car or a building and certainly...
Well, it was just like one day, one stream or something carry on, and now it's like it's been brushed under the carpet.
Oh no, he's just not showing anyone. You can be sure as eggs, if someone had backed into him, there would have been a video up straight away. The cry of someone help me, I need money, and none of that's happened.
No.
So he's obviously hit something. Doesn't want to talk about it. Such is life. Famous words of Ned Kelly. And they hung him, he said, such is life.
I was just thinking about when you plant fruit trees, like, are you going to dig the pavers up and do it, or
What are you talking about?
planting fruit trees?
Everything can be fixed, don't worry. You're talking about reticulation.
Or just general, just
I'll overlay reticulation on top for a couple of years and then they won't need watering anymore.
Yeah, I understand that.
So just run as a retic to them.
Jared, yeah, this one off track. I was just thinking of trees, that's all. I'm on control with business. Oh, okay. Yeah, we'll have to wait. Oh, I think it's going to be my bedtime.
Yes, it's reached that hour.
So when's your next story, V-Mac?
She's going to do the Raven, the real version. So your nephew wants to do the Raven reading. Have you written your version of the Raven, or is it the version of the Raven? Enjoy the walk.
Give the puppies a hug and don't forget, be kind to the hedgehogs.
If you don't like the author, V-Mac, don't do something you don't like.
Oh, it doesn't matter about the author, it's whether the story.
Am I going to be sent an audio of one of your readings so I can listen to it? I would find that enjoyable. I'd be sipping a small cognac, having a pipe in hand, rocking backwards and forwards, listening to the orator V-Mac. Yeah, I see. My works wouldn't be appreciated. The old people say, that's not original, young man. Get him out of here. Off with his head. You don't know about that. So have I just got to get really old before you read to me, V-Mac? I showed you mine. I gave you the Raven. I'm owed one story. You could even do a video without you being on it, just the audio, and you could give me a link, and I could watch it and savour the moment, thinking I've just been listening to Miss Marple. Anyway, you all have a good day. Most of you are just starting.
And the lurkers, one for them, and another.
And we will see you another time. Be safe. Good night. Don't let the bed bugs bite. B-Mac, read me a story.
That's scary.
Good now. I'm watching you. No, you don't have to. All right. Night, people. Have a good one.